is Actually Contrøller, the podcast that is actually Contrøller. And we are actually in control of everything you are hearing right now. I'm so very sorry.
What up, everyone? Welcome back to Actually Contrøller.
Hello,
You got
everybody.
Steve,
You got a Jeff.
We got Chris and a Chad.
and we have a special guest today.
Yes, who is he?
There's this guy that, used
We
to
probably
only
should have
be
figured
in
this
one
out.
band and then decided to be in every band.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds kind of masochistic.
Yeah, we thought so too. But
Yeah.
today we're going to interview that guy,
And we're going to talk to him about the time that he was in one band, in that band that he was only in at that one time.
Yeah,
That one band, that one time.
We are interviewing the drummer of the Kickbacks.
Hey, welcome, drummer of the Kickbacks. hey, I'm a drummer too.
Do you feel paradoxical right now?
I'm trying to figure out how I want to go forward. Yes.
Do you want a question to ask
Should
yourself?
I be the? I'm the Kickbacks. Hey, Kickback Chris. What's up?
Yeah.
You are Kickback Chris today. So.
I am. It's weird.
Yeah.
So I don't normally cross streams with bands, but we needed a guest, and
Well, that and
We just came from what took 10 years, your album release
10 years, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Been a long time.
Wow.
for the Kickbacks. So we kind of want to put you up and celebrate you some. So we get to do
Just want
that.
to put me on the spot. So.
Yes.
a little bit.
That's
but I
kind of
mean,
why you're sitting
I
all
need
by
some more
yourself
alcohol
right
for this.
now.
Being
Need some more
realistic,
alcohol.
it was one of those. If ever a time to kind of highlight you in this respect, it would probably be now.
Yes. Okay.
With a album that took longer than you thought to get out, and
Wow.
was a fight
Yeah.
to get over the finish line, but
Oh
a
my
well
gosh.
fought.
I'm real
Fight.
proud of you, man.
So-
Laid drum tracks to that in November of 2020.
yeah.
It was supposed to be we're in COVID, let's do something with it, and pieced together some ideas, got into the studio, laid some drum tracks. Jeff had COVID, so I laid tracks with just guitar scratch. And it was just a long, winding road to get here.
Yeah, lots of working with one producer, working with another producer.
The studio was 45 minutes away one way, so when we started doing edits and going down and having conversations about the album and laying the layers, I guess,
Yes.
secondary vocals and backing vocals and coming up with great ideas. Now, this Studio 303 was very great about being receptive to our ideas, which turned into a 25-track opus.
Yeah.
Not all tracks are music. There's some
Interludes.
interludes and some things that we created, including a shout out to a lot of the local love, Contrøller included.
At that point,
Let's see.
I was
I
gonna
was
say,
not in the band. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was not in the band, and it's interesting listening back to it now. Just that ad alone, how many bands are defunct now?
Yeah.
Controller's still around. TBA is still around. To Breathe Again.
yeah, they were just infantile
Yeah.
at that point in time.
Yeah.
When they were just starting.
OLC actually partied with us for the album release, so they're still around. But they're just kind of cool in their jets for a while. Blood from a Stone, Corrosive, and I just recently heard that Red Queen Project is no more.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's 10
Yeah.
years. 10 years is a long time to outpace
Oh yeah.
bands, right? Over here.
Oh yeah. No,
Baker's
well,
dozen.
So
Baker's dozen.
yeah, so Jeff and I were at the CD release show last night. Now, for everybody context, you're seeing this in July. We're a little over a month from
Yeah.
the release show at this point.
Yep.
But Jeff and I were at the release show last night supporting our local homie.
our drummer.
Couple local homies, really.
Yep,
There's a
and
whole plethora.
another fellow local homie
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
from pre-mentioned OLC, Ben.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
were talking, and we just the topic got brought up while you guys were doing some of your banter, talking about this is our 10-year anniversary, and he's like, man, 10 years and everything for them. That's wild. OLC's like right there on the brink of 10 years, and he looks at me and he goes, yeah, Contrøller is where? And I go, yeah, we just passed 13. He's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's
So-
it's a long time. A lot of shows, a lot of musical friends have come and gone for various
and
reasons.
You even made
a lot of
mention-
projects.
Yeah, you'd even made mention in regards to kind of the local homies and everything like that a couple different times that there for a little while it almost felt like the local Fort Wayne tour
Yeah, I called that out I'll just say last night,
Yeah.
whatever. Last night at the show that we had so much love, so many friends there. But for a while there was a lot of us, Contrøller, Blood from a Stone, that we
Corrosive.
Corrosive. I wanted to also call it Walk on Darkness, but they weren't present.
Yeah.
Just a core of us that were just trading shows constantly. Like come play with us, and then we'd go play with them, and then you'd come play with us, and then they'd go play with you, and then it
We
was
had a
like
few more venues then than we have now, so it
Yeah.
wasn't as condensed amongst.
yeah,
like,
and
three
mainly
venues.
Contrøller, Corrosive, and TKB, but the OLC started throwing in the mix, and that was fun. We did a lot of stuff with them when they started really pulling up and coming in. So I don't know, a lot of local love, and that's just kind of what TKB's really been about. Is when we throw shows, we try to bring bands in. That's what last night was about.
Yes.
We loved OLC. They're obviously our brothers. Musically, we always have a great party with them. Then we wanted to bring up The Shadow Within because Ellis is a good supporter of the music scene. Ellis Omega, thank you.
You
Appreciate and love you, dude.
saw him on an interview episode just a few back, actually. If
Yeah.
you did not
Yep.
catch that one,
So he's spreading his wings. He's getting into the cover band scene. So they were looking for ways to get into Fort Wayne. I was like, hey, let's do the show. And it wasn't supposed to be at the venue it was at. So just no dates lined up. I got a hold of the club, and they said, here, you can have the main stage of Pierre's. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, okay.
And actually, it
Oh,
worked
no.
out really good.
Yeah, oh, no.
You know, they worked right along with you guys, and what a great show, man.
Michael Thomas, Walker, his project, he was trying to get a butt rock cover band going, and then he pivoted because of The Shadow Within. I was like, hey, this would be great opportunity for carbon fiber. But they pivoted to the tribute scene, and they presented Nickelback last night.
Yeah.
And I think
Yes.
they did a phenomenal job.
Yes,
So,
it
again,
was
just a bunch of
excellent,
local
actually.
love and a lot of new talent, but also, like, the old guard is starting to, like, take a back seat to some of the new.
Mhm.
well, and I had made that statement actually to you earlier. How with the Nickelback tribute, Something in Your Mouth. How
Something in your mouth.
yeah. So with Walker, I know of Walker because of Decade Divide and Soda and stuff like that. However, I didn't recognize anybody else from that camp, and it was one of those. It was honestly kind of a refreshing moment because
It's good to see new
blood in
New
the,
blood
the
doing the-
circuit and everything. Because
Yeah.
let's be realistic, we have been trading members in
Yeah.
amongst the bands for so many years.
And I think that any scene, any music scene, if you've grown up in and around it, that happens.
Just kind of gets interwoven.
Yeah.
Now I'll say the same thing for The Shadow Within. Like that was the first time I met anybody outside of Brad, or outside of Ellis.
Yeah.
Brad has been a Facebook friend of mine for a while. One of those I've never met, fellow drummer. But he's like, yeah, I drum for Surface and I drum for Mudbone. And I'm like, these are bands I've heard of like way before TKB was even a
Right.
thought. So and I've seen Surface before with a prior drummer, but. There was some experience there as well, and so Something in Your Mouth. Zach, their bass player, was with the Illegals. The other two guys, Jordan and I'm drawing a blank. Kobe. Sorry, dude. Kobe. They're in Under the Covers as a cover
Okay.
band. So
Very cool.
another '80s, '90s, 2000s band that doesn't break down to decades. Lame, but
Oh no.
they do a
It's
wonderful
not like
job.
somebody else may have already gotten that need.
They do a wonderful
They don't
job and
do
a
it
wonderful
like I do,
stage show.
they're
So.
lame.
Yeah. So I guess we should steer into the first question.
Yeah,
here.
we're gonna get Chad to speak up a little bit now first.
What?
Okay, here you go.
Okay.
The bass player's going to talk?
Yeah,
That's not allowed.
I mean you don't listen to him anyway, right?
What?
I'll just show you the
I can't
card.
hear it.
I'll just show you the
I'll
card.
just show it to you.
So what experience inspired you to start your craft?
Um,
Where did you start your drumming? Did you do marching band? And
I
stuff?
don't, man. If you want to go back to like the inspiration, my uncle, my mom's brother, drummed for a little bit as a hobby. He never really was in any bands that I knew of. I was probably 8 years old, saw him doing it. I was like, I want to do that. I want to hit things
Nice.
and make some noise.
I want to hit things and have
make
be
some
acceptable.
noise.
Yeah.
And I had a real natural talent for drums. And then officially, I got my first snare drum when I was in 5th grade. So, what is that, like 12, 11?
11, 12 years old.
Yeah, about there.
11. So I played snare, and the natural talent took me. I was playing in a rural community, so there was like 2 drummers, and like I was pretty good.
Yeah.
There's just no other way to say that. Like
good.
we did this countywide thing, and it was like, and as simple as it is now, looking back on it, in like 6th and 7th grade, trying to play Wipeout, trying to cram those 16th notes.
Yeah.
Out of like 17 or 18 snare drummers, they only let like 5 of us do it, and I was one of them.
Nice.
So because it got, with that many drums, it got messy, and not everybody could keep that tempo and like maintain it. But no, I got my first drum kit when I was like 12, 13, and just pretty self-taught. Just wanted to play along. Started playing melodies. That's probably where some of my writing comes along. I would play with the lyrics, and I'd play with the guitar, and I wouldn't be keeping the 2/4 time, and I would just
You'd
play
be
off
listening
the
for
cuff.
what caught your ear, not
Yeah.
the drums per se.
So
And
you would do the drum bit for a little while, and then after a while, you'd kind of snake off into, I want to play this part too. Yeah.
Yeah, so then I started learning how to actually play and keep time and do actual drums
Nice.
instead of just randomly hitting things. But what really started it was in high school. I was in marching band. Ended up doing jazz band. Pep band. Pep band was a lot of fun.
Jazzer.
Yeah, pep band was a lot of fun playing out there in the gym.
Now, see, as a bass player, I hated pep band.
And then, like, right out of, as I was getting towards the end of high school, I was like, I've met some friends that wanted to join a band, and we just kind of hacked around a little bit, and that's where the first project was born. But it was a complete hobby and not a lot to really share, except the single, Chris Collier and Mike Kessler single, Say Goodbye, came out of that, and that was a few years ago.
And the
But it just kind of like, I took, all this took a back seat because at 21, I had my first child, so I was a career-minded dude with a kid, and then another kid, and then another kid, and a 60, 70-hour work week just didn't do it. So I would still just hack around in my basement, or I'd hack around wherever I was at. Moved into an apartment and briefly sold the kit for a while, kind of like broke my heart. It was weird, like when you see it and you can't touch it because you can't play drums in an apartment.
Yeah.
It's
Typically,
one
it's
thing,
frowned
but when
upon.
you were absolutely devoid of having any instrument in your possession, it was like, ugh.
Is that what drove you to get the digital drums? to have
Well,
something?
that was more of my neighbor. That's fast forwarding way too far, I know.
Okay. Yeah, it was
That's an
interesting.
open.
So
forum
getting into
chat.
it was like the kids got older. I wanted to turn the hobby into something a little more. I didn't care how much I got paid. Didn't care where I played. Didn't care what was going on. Just as long as I was playing and writing and just having fun with other people, because it is boring just sitting and
Yeah.
playing to whatever's in your headphones or whatever. So
Right.
Right.
So I guess, long story. It started. I was at first inspired by my uncle and just went through the whole education system, and then had to take a break to be a dad, and then now I'm growing back into it.
Cool. Very, very cool.
All right. So, be it TKB, be it one of the other 15 bands that you're in.
One of the
Whatever.
other 15 bands.
What's your favorite experience so far?
Oh man.
And I mean, if you want to say our hotel stays on tour, it's
I
fine.
totally understand.
The Wizards Academy.
That's
was
hard
evil.
because there's a lot of things that have happened over. I mean, you guys can attest. There's a lot of things that happen over the course of a decade.
Yes.
And the
and
kickbacks.
a lot you don't remember until somebody tells you.
Yeah, I mean, it just blurs because the kickbacks. At one point, we did like 60 or 70 shows a year for like
Right.
2 years, and it was just nuts. And I remember one month we had like 17 shows, and people were like, "How'd you do that?" It's like because we were multifaceted. We'd open for a national, and then we'd turn around and do an acoustic show somewhere, and then we'd turn around and do a cover show somewhere, and we throw down at O'Sullivan's, then we turn around and throw down at Skeletons, and then it was like anywhere and everywhere that wanted us to play. And some people would call it saturation, but the clubs wanted us.
Yeah.
So like, why would we say no?
Well, and it was different too, because where I thought a lot of other bands might hit that oversaturation thing, you guys were just the staple. You knew that you were going to be playing.
Well, it was a
someplace,
different experience every time. Like we didn't
Yeah.
we tried to keep every set different. We tried to keep, as I said, you're not going to get the same thing when I'm sitting on a cajon
Right.
Right.
versus a drum kit versus playing our originals. It's a whole different energy than playing some covers.
Well, it's a lot harder to stand on a cajon.
Playing at Pierre's is way different than playing at O'Sullivan's.
And I kind of got the idea too that it was just you guys wanted to make yourself a staple to the scene, and I felt like
We just didn't want to say no.
Yeah.
I didn't have any goal of being a staple or being like this big powerhouse or everybody needs to know who we are, household name kind of thing. It was just don't want to say no. I mean,
What else do you have better to do that day type thing?
yeah, I mean it's what you wanted to do. So like,
Yeah.
why would I say no? No, I do not want to play drums.
that sounds horribly
That
wrong.
does,
Yeah.
but that's kind of what you're asking. Like
Yeah.
if we were offered a show, it's like no, I don't want to do that. That sounds weird when you say it
Yeah.
that way. But so we did get to a point where we started making some better business decisions with venues, better business decisions with the bands. Some venues we did turn down because it just didn't make sense. We talked about this in other podcasts.
And burnout is a thing.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that part. So I don't know. What was the question? Favorite experience so far?
Again, wherever you want to lead that
Yeah.
question.
I don't know. One of the I wouldn't say favorite, but like a memorable moment was trying to do a double show. One of the reasons I tried to avoid being in multiple bands was giving Soda the opportunity to play Headwaters Park, but at the same time having a committed show with Decade Divide 45 minutes north of here.
Yes.
You
and I have had a talk of that.
So my day was taking a drum set up to Angola, Indiana, 45 minutes north, setting up in a venue, setting up all my cabling, setting up all my microphones, making sure everything's ready to go. Driving back down with another drum set and setting up at Headwaters Park with a secondary drum set, playing a 45-minute set, tearing down and speeding up back up to Angola to do a 4-hour private party. So did not get a chance to meet the other bands, and unfortunately that would have catapulted us a little more because one of the other bands was Freak on a Leash.
Yes.
So
it still
love those
catapulted
guys.
you. It was just longer. Of a process.
Fort Wayne talked about us quite a bit. Obviously, the other guys stayed, and we built a relationship with that. There's not really a favorite experience. I just love that networking and the relationships that we're building with people, other bands, and being able to throw shows. Like, we talk about that gig moment, that you're in gig mode, and sometimes for me it's like I'm hosting a party, man. It's not my house. I'm not the one offering the alcohol. Obviously, it's for sale, but at the same time, I want everybody there to have a good time. From whether you're on the left side of the stage, the right side of the stage, sitting way back in the back. So that's what I mean. Those are probably my favorite experiences, is being able to throw the show and making sure everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, I will say that you guys have elevated the level of showmanship throughout the years, and it's
Trying,
really
and that's what definitely was a goal Saturday. But Hard Rock Casino is definitely notable. Not every day you can say that.
No.
It's starting to open some doors for some other stuff. TKB is going to be playing a casino. Obviously, a great time doing the tours with you guys. Good story with Pipe Stem. We could just encompass that whole 36 hours with stories, because that was quite an adventure, getting 90 minutes of sleep in 36 hours.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chad.
Yep. Thanks.
Hey, we didn't make the call.
You can't. I mean, let's be fair.
No.
90 minutes or 150 minutes, it's still
It all
still would have
hurts.
been. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were on 90. I was on 150. I
Yeah.
think we felt the
even
same.
if I got that one more hour, it would have just been dragging. But
Well, and to be fair, to make up for it, Chad nearly cooked himself alive.
he was a
did.
lobster.
Yeah, after that.
I made the sacrifice.
So yeah,
Well,
I mean,
you got an ass pillow flip out of it.
I can't name a favorite experience. There's been so many different things that have happened, which each group, watching Sarek take Pierre's stage for the first time was kind of proud.
I knew you were
Because
really excited that you finally.
none of
landed
those
that
three
one.
have ever played that stage, and I'm like, wow. Like, so it's pretty cool, like, being able to offer that experience to them.
Right.
I don't know. Decade Divide really kills the 90s night. The Headwaters Park thing that we're doing, and we've got a big, massive Woodstock show that we're coming up with in November. So if you were a fan of Woodstock '99 and you're in an area, come see us on Black Wednesday. I don't know. I can't give you a favorite.
Hey, that's fair enough.
The overall experience has been my favorite.
That's
You hit things and you're allowed to in many places, right? That's your favorite experience.
Mm-hmm.
And occasionally get paid for it.
Yeah.
Occasionally, and every other band. No.
So here.
Do you want a $5 bill? I'll give
No.
you a $5 bill.
I'm messing with you.
So here's the next question. What do you hope to accomplish with this venture?
Is it weird being on this side of the questions right now?
Well, I'm very ambiguous with things, so like
You are.
answering these questions is difficult because I don't have an end goal in mind.
Yeah.
I just want to play.
There's
Yeah.
no.
I'm like that teenager's like, I got this toy, man. I want to be able to use it.
I mean, that sounds
I've
like
got
an
this
end goal.
investment. Like I've gotten
the,
like
the ability to play sounds like an
seriously,
end goal,
that's
you
why
know?
he's like, I'm just the drummer.
I have
know,
I
yeah,
have
all
and I
the
have
time.
5 drum sets, so it's like let me use them. I want to use them.
He wants to go. He wants to be a
Um,
part of the party. He wants to be that guy. Yeah.
I don't
Chris's
know.
living room is a full gear rental facility.
Sustaining
Sustaining.
is probably a goal, and I guess it's probably why TKB is still ticking.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I'm in multiple bands. Actually, there's been a couple bands low key before I joined Contrøller. I was like, I'll drum for you until you find a drummer.
Right.
Almost joined
You mean
Hazensall. Almost joined Hazensall for a moment.
Yeah.
TBA was going to be a part of them for a moment, just to make sure that, just to help them.
They got the release
just
show.
to help them, yeah. You know, so just to be able to keep doing this as long as I can. There's no, I don't have any grandeur. It's 2024, man. There's no grandeur of being this big old, like, you know, universal music group, rock star,
Nope.
selling out arenas. But at the same time, you don't want to be playing clubs to 5 people all the time.
I mean,
so.
and then also it's a time dedication. We've seen a lot of people, incredibly talented people, come and go, but the dedicated time that's required, the amount of like actual
But
the energy.
that
in.
kind of points out like some of the things that have been said about TKB specifically, and again, 10 years of that history, is the professionalism, the showmanship,
Yes.
the energy.
Absolutely.
That's what I try to bring no matter what group I'm playing with.
all on display last night. It was awesome.
And that encourages other bands and other venues to continue to work with you. And that's how we've gotten some of our gigs. It was just word of mouth. It's like, these guys are good to work with. They're easy to work with.
Yes.
There's no ego unless Eric has too many drinks. But there's no. We just want to play and we want to have a good time, and that's just really the accomplishment. As
Yeah.
long as we're having fun, we're going to continue to do this.
Yeah, and I gotta say, as far as crowd interaction, you guys are probably some of the best. So that I've seen, like,
Oh, thank
just
you.
period. Yeah, big real.
Art Dark
Okay. Okay.
I mean,
He's like, he doesn't take
don't.
compliments. He doesn't know how. but
Next
that's
question.
legit.
I can ask this, but I already feel like on the other side, looking at this, I would say your biggest obstacle would be you need more
Schedule?
time for more bands.
Yeah.
So what
that's
is your biggest
honestly-
obstacle?
Honestly, I could probably do that. It's not about. It's well, I have one band this year that's scheduled 40 dates, so it does make it difficult.
Yes.
And there's
'Cause
been
they're never close.
there's numerous shows that I've had to turn down because of that. What was the question? You got me
What's the
distracted.
biggest obstacle?
The biggest obstacle. That's to what? To doing this?
Can I just say, I feel
your
it's
medium
time.
to your
I don't even know.
drum
I don't think
playing.
that's an obstacle. That's
Yes.
why I'm in multiple bands. I'm really solid with time
Because-
management.
Yeah, he's actually trying to fill more time.
So the time is more. I don't have a personal life.
I know. I try to
So
make sure you do.
that's not an
sometimes,
obstacle,
but-
though. I mean,
I don't
that's
know.
that's kind of where I'm at now. Like
I-
I've.
The amount of time that you're out, I've seen you bounce from shows to karaoke to make sure that
I don't do
you're-
that anymore because I'm busy playing.
Fair.
So the biggest obstacle to my medium, the biggest obstacle to what I'm doing, good.
Personal life.
Space for more drum
Dude,
sets.
I can tell you what, setting up and tearing down drum sets gets old real quick. And again, I know you guys specifically have offered to help. It's like it's the setting up and tearing down that I need to do by myself because everything's specific.
Yeah.
But carrying it back and forth, that's
He's
also
yelled at me
tiresome.
more than a few times with the wrong wing nut.
Don't touch that nut.
Yeah.
Stop touching my nut.
Wrong nut. No.
At least I know that I can get stuff out of, like, the drums out of the bags for you.
Yeah, we're
and
getting a pretty good flow pre and post show, so that's
Yeah.
good. But and I hate to be like at my age, but it is, man. You get to that
Yeah.
point where like
Oh,
you know, yesterday was a 9-hour day, and that was because I didn't want to load in at 2 in the afternoon, which we probably should have. But loading in at 3 o'clock and being done just before, well, no, I was probably done closer to 1 a.m. by the time I was
Yeah.
done tearing
Yes.
down and handling the business
Well,
side.
and then
and-
we were over in the sidebar hanging out until 2:30
Yeah.
Right.
and everything. So,
So,
just with the post show decompress.
physically,
yeah.
the biggest obstacle is probably just the fact that I do play drums. It's tiring on the body to set up, tear down, and do. And I don't just sit behind the drums, man.
You stand up, you run
I
all
perform.
over the
He's the drummer
stage.
so tired. He's
Just
sitting there
the
whole
standing and the jumping alone is like hard on the hips. It's hard on the ankles.
Yeah.
Several times I've dropped onto a mic stand and I don't wear shoes, so it's 220 pounds right onto a
the ball of a mic stand.
ouch. The other, I guess, really, you can talk about the business side of it. The biggest obstacle, and focusing on TKB, since that's kind of what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
Is probably the management side and I am just a drummer. I'm not very good with technology. I'm not very good with the media, the art, all the other hats that have to be in a band to make it successful. You know, you can just write music and you can just go out and perform it if that's all you want to do.
Yes.
You reach a bigger audience with the marketing and the visuals and the media and the social networking and everything else that's outside of what you want to do. What you want to do is create music and play.
Yep.
Yeah,
but if the business side of it just gets real thick.
It does, and
cumbersome.
And if you want to play if you want to play to a lot of people, you kind of have to put yourself into.
And that, and it took a minute, like with the boys, and not to talk those guys down, but it was 2018. We opened for Puddle Mud, and that was the first time I was like, we're playing our set, we're putting the gear to the side, and then we're going straight to the. You're not tearing anything down. Just get it off the stage, and go straight to the merch.
Yeah,
and they got to experience like, oh my God, you guys were so great. I love your stuff. Like everybody that wanted to come visit the band, they were there for it instead of hiding off in some corner. And I'm like, this is the experience that I want to have every show we have. I want to be able to play a show, come to a merch, and like sit down and like have everybody
have the reward, if you will, for the
and so neither one of them are very savvy at social media and being in multiple bands and working full time and having like everything else I do. So yes, time. Yes. There's not enough time for me to do everything outside of the creating, the rehearsing, the performing.
Yeah, because it's one thing to be able to book your calendar for shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody can book their calendar for shows.
And it's not simply just posting a Facebook post, especially with today's algorithm.
It's interacting with your fan base.
It took us, and granted, we did some finessing, but it took us like just an hour and a half, 2 hours just to come up with the album art. I mean,
okay, wait. You say that like that is a long period of time.
No, I know. That's what that's exactly what I'm saying. That it is not.
Oh,
and
no.
so like we didn't spend all like when you are creating something, you don't want to just rush through and green check the very first thing you completed and said, I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah. Right.
Satisfied with that because it's going to pass. Like there was probably other things we could have done or I could have done in terms of this album prep or anything going on with TKB that I just don't have the time for. Right. And I don't. I'm trying to be polite. I don't want to sit here and I don't want to have to keep delegating. I don't want get on board.
Yeah.
And let's realize that it's more than just writing music and waiting for an A&R rec exec to be in the club for us.
Right.
Like it's not going to happen. You don't play for a big crowd and then turn around and sign a contract.
Well, and even that, like the A&Rs don't go searching in that manner anymore.
They don't, and you don't, and they're looking for.
That they're at South by.
They're looking for a band in the box, and that's not what we are. We're not there because we don't have those other skills.
And with things like YouTube and like Twitch even and all the different digital avenues, there are people out there who are already pre-invested that are easier for these companies to buy into that already have a baked-in audience and whatnot. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
And the reality is our music is fun. Our music is
it's a good
energetic. It is, but it's very cookie cutter. It's very radio friendly. It's something that you could turn the dial and probably hear the next band playing the same thing. We don't have anything. No disrespect, Eric, Jeff. We have to admit this. It's fun. Yeah. And it doesn't really have anything that's different, but it is very crisp. It's very raw. It's authentic. We don't have anything. We don't have to pull out any kind of rabbits out of our hat to perform.
Pretending on stage.
Yeah, no, we are exactly who we are. Yeah. What we present on the record is exactly what you see on stage.
Personally, I think that's refreshing. I see the opposite. I see so much production out of so many other people and other groups a lot of the times that I feel like it's gotten away from the, we're here to throw down,
Kind of like the statement I had in the last episode where everybody's using the same 6 plugins now.
Yeah.
So they're creating the same tone.
That in itself is another obstacle, trying to present ourselves as something that, every band's like, yeah, we're an energetic rock band, blah, blah, blah.
Deciding on the
how many bands put the word in? Like, we have it in our About Us.
Yeah.
How many bands do that? Like,
are you really alt metal band?
Right.
Yeah. But are you really?
Right.
Like, there's not very many bands that really own that when they say it. So, we talked about the recordings, like having your music, produced music, has to sound.
There's a happy balance between if you're trying to be raw and authentic to the fact that you still have to do the layers, you still have to do the production, you still have to.
It's disappointing.
Polish.
It's disappointing when you listen to somebody either one way or the other. You see them live, and you're like, I want to buy their music, and then you hear it, and you're like, ooh, that doesn't match what I just watched. And then, or you come across them, you buy their music, and you go out to watch them. Like, ooh, that doesn't match what I was listening to.
Yep.
So we try to make sure that transcends both ways whenever we present ourselves. So that's, I don't know. I'm stammering on this question. I don't know.
Yeah, it's good.
Music itself presents, like, live music has so many different obstacles. Like, it depends on what you, going back to the question prior, what do you want to do with it?
Yeah.
And like, how on board is everybody else in your group?
Right. Right.
So, then we will wrap up the challenging ones because we like to beat up our drummer,
Yes, this
who's
is
not
fair.
our drummer today.
No, we are talking about the kickbacks.
Yep.
TKB.
So, for someone starting out, what's the biggest pros and cons? Pro being a drummer, con being a drummer.
Oh, jeez. I think, first of all, you have to decide why you're doing it, right? If you, and that has to be what you're striving for your pro, I guess, is probably the easiest way for me to answer. A pro for starting out is you've got that fire, you've got that hunger to be a performer, you get that fire to write music or learn music if you want to be in a cover band or whatever it is you want to do, however you want to present your
Find
music.
your niche.
Yeah.
What's your
So the pro is you hopefully are genuinely excited to do it, but the con is there are so many different walls. There are so many different obstacles that if you aren't rooted in like what you really want to accomplish out of it, and you don't have the drive to get over that wall, it's going to be struggle.
Yeah.
So I stick with, I started this because I wanted to have fun. I wanted to be able to write. I wanted to be able to play music. And that's probably why I'm so diversified, I
Fair.
guess. I'm very diversified in what I'm doing. I got the cover band, I got the tribute band, I've got the original metal band, I got the original rock band, and whenever they figure out what we're going to do, I've got the blues band. But it's all different, and that's because I just want to play.
Yeah.
You want
And
to scratch
wanna
multiple
have
itches.
I just want to have a good time. Well, I don't even care. Like last night, WTKB FM, the album itself, it goes through a whole litany of genres like that we played over the last 10 years.
Right.
Watching Eric's musicianship and Eric's writing skills grow over time, and seeing the input that Jeff's had after Ryan left us.
Yeah.
7 years is quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
To
Yeah. So
influence a
what was the
project.
band we just played? Praise the Fallen. They're kind of what like an 80s. What was your description on them? That's
So I
you
had
said that, and I'm like, that's kind of where
Kinda
TKB is moving right now.
Skate punky kind of.
Yeah, he had the skate punk. I had kind of like the 80s metal type thing. The Bon Jovi thing was on Birds, but just kind of the 80s metal vibe was on Praise the
Yeah. So
Fallen.
Jeff has definitely like flipped the genre that we have. Anyway, we kind of got that going.
Well, and I know Jeff is very influenced by a lot of the 70s, 80s rock
Yeah.
and metal bands.
He is.
So,
So the pros and cons are almost hand in hand. You just have to ultimately have to decide why you're doing it, and then no matter, as long as you're rooted strongly in why you're doing it, then the cons won't matter
Yeah, because you're just
because you're going to approach those and you're going to overcome those. So
Yeah.
like the fact that I'm carrying around a drum set for every show, that is a con. That sucks.
like
Yeah.
I said, pro,
It
you're
does.
always going to have a job.
Yeah.
Con,
You got to.
you always
Yeah.
got a
Got
job.
Yeah.
and that's a simple thing. But like, if you're trying to be the big rock star, or you're trying to be the next big thing, like good luck,
Yeah.
because you're in it for the wrong reasons. If you're in it for money, then
Yeah.
Good luck.
Go play because you like to play. I mean, it's called
and
playing.
those
you
things
know?
those things wear you down faster than 10 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're in it for money, you quickly realize that's not where it's at with original rock,
That's true.
unless you become just a cover band, which again has its whole other like system of like I've had to learn how to drum other techniques. I've had to learn how to manifest other drummers and what they're doing. That's like, that's not my style, but I got to figure out how to play it.
Right.
If you're in it to be a
Everybody's
rock
expecting
star,
a
you
certain
know.
vibe from that song.
Yeah,
on their
like
shows.
where a snare hit or a China hit or crash or whatever. And you're like, that's not comfortable for me. There's a few songs in Decade Divided. I'm like, this Creed. Oh man, let me tell you what.
You also had like a Green Day one you said at some point too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But the most recent one we learned was Higher by Creed, and I'm like, oh yeah, I loved Creed when they were coming out in the early 2000s, and I'm like, I got this. I used to think my drumming style was very much like Flip, and I'm like, that's how I would drum, and everything I heard was that's kind of my style.
Until you got into
Until I listened like tuned out the lyrics and tuned out the guitars
Heard
that
where
I
he
need to
was
learn.
Actually
Oh
playing,
man,
yeah.
there's some things that he does that like I just learned something new. Not that there's a new technique, but like just a new polyrhythm or something.
A new approach to
Yeah.
like
a new element.
snap.
You're like, I didn't do that rudiment.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what he was playing. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, how do I get there?
The heritas are not where I herita.
Don't talk about heritas. We don't talk about
That's his
heritas.
favorite thing he does in Controller.
I'm okay with heritas with my hands. Brandon, why did you do that with your feet, man? Why?
Heritas.
Heritas.
Because Brandon. But yeah,
That's
so
hilarious.
we're kind of into the open forum thing. I will say this. I think you, just like anybody else that's been doing this for an extended period of time, especially with a singular project, regardless of member changes or anything like that, have gone through the ups and downs personally. You don't even need to have it be publicly, where it's personally of the why the hell am I still doing this project moments, and the oh my god, this is why I'm still doing the project moments.
Okay,
And
so you
they can both be equally taxing.
call this issue out. Okay, it's been a little over a year, but I almost ended TKB. It just got tough, man. Trying to do everything else. It had nothing to do with being in 3 or 4 other bands. It was more of trying to balance everything that I wanted to do, and like managing a band, marketing a band, promoting a band, scheduling a band, coaching a band, teaching a band.
Thanks, Steve.
Yes.
Just trying to make sure that you talk about the level of professionalism. Like I did not want last night's show to feel like we were a local band.
Right.
And that was one, and I'm like, we need to get to that point. I don't care if we never play outside of Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
I do, but
that's
the fact is that's not the result I want. I don't want to continue to be the local band. I want to be the support.
You want to get to the explosive moment where it's a big deal because it's the Kickbacks.
So I confessed to the guys, it was back in January, and this was before the album was starting to really zip together. Like Adam, Sundance Records, Adam Hudson.
You are a god.
He literally was kind of sitting on it, and I told him to take his time. We were already 3 years in. I'm in no rush to get this album. Take your time. And
Adam
the guys
was at the show, by the way, again last night.
Thank you, buddy.
Another person that was there supporting. You're amazing.
So the guys had kind of checked out on the album. We hadn't really been doing anything, and I made the rule in my head I was going to stop pursuing shows. And all of a sudden, I made that decision, and then like, boom! All these shows started coming at us, and I'm like, all right. So we played one, and I told the boys at the end of the night, I almost pulled the plug, and I didn't because it was one of those shows where you were reinvigorated. People had a great time. People reminded you of why you're doing it because it's not all the work, it's not all the promoting, it's not all the marketing.
Right.
It's just the fact that you're doing it because I'm doing it because I want to have fun.
Yeah.
I had fun. I had 3 hours of fun,
Yep.
4 hours of fun, a little bit of work before and after to set up and tear down, but I had fun doing it. So I don't know what the question was, but
No, this was just the open,
open
forum
forum,
part
yeah,
of
yeah.
the that any band that has had the longevity
Yeah.
that Controller has, TKB, OLC, other bands like that. We've all had those moments of the do we keep going?
I guess
do we
and so-
pull the plug?
Yeah.
And you never know exactly where you're supposed to go with those feelings sometimes of the
and that I think that does take it back to you got to understand why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And once that need is met,
Mm-hmm.
it does refresh. And so like it wasn't fun for a while. It was a lot of work for what we were doing. It was a lot of stress, and it was a lot of like, why am I putting this whole thing on my shoulders? Like, there's 3 of us.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric, Jeff, you guys know this is a grievance, so this isn't any surprise. But then like, all right, cool. Put the monkey on my back. Let's go. Put the gorilla on my back. We're gonna go because you have that show that's like, okay, this is why I'm doing it.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
no.
So,
Yeah, and then also with as a credit to both Eric and Jeff, they're both showmen when they're up there. They do the thing. Okay.
this is when Chris is thirsty.
It's hot down here. My fat is sweating.
Your fat is a sweating.
And
I
now
think,
he's about to have the diabetes.
I think we're gonna move into the hot take questions right now. You want to pick a number, and Chad will bring you a
Oh, God.
question of awesomeness.
Come on,
Chad, ready?
Yeah.
14. Oh god, this is weird being on this side.
There you go.
What is your go-to dance move when nobody is watching?
Oh, I know this movie.
Oh, that's actually a fun one.
So I don't have a go-to dance move, but I will tell you a story.
Oh no! Here you go.
And this is why we do the
This,
podcast.
this is a shout out to my best friend Dave,
Nice.
who is not going to listen to this, but he's very proud of what I'm doing, and he actually makes me feel like the rock star because we were both in drumline and stuff in high school. But
Cool.
I did used to be able to dance okay, I guess, for a '90s kid, dorky '90s kid.
That's fair.
And he was always jealous of the fact that I could do the Running Man.
Hey, that's like my go-to move too.
So anytime we're out and we're hanging out and somebody's dancing, he like smacks me in the shoulder and says, "Hey, dude, you should just totally go do the Running Man." Now it's different, like drunk Dave versus sober Dave. Sober Dave's making fun of me. Drunk Dave is kind of jealous that I could do it. So I could just tell the difference. So I do not have a go-to dance move. He would probably convince you it's the Running Man.
It's the Running Man.
it's the Running Man. We're gonna go with what Dave thinks.
the gliding man.
There we go.
I wish I could learn that. Have you seen that? Where
Yes,
they look
I
like they're
have.
just like looking like they're
Smooth
floating.
sliding.
Almost a moonwalk, but
Oh.
not.
It's so good.
Smooth.
So good.
Yep. All right.
7.
It is kind of nice that we have somebody who knows how this part
Yeah,
works.
yeah. This is great. I'm glad Chad took that over because that's excellent.
Let's see.
I was more talking. We have an interviewee.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Who knows
this is
how
true.
all this works?
This is true.
There's more than one category, right? That's why you're searching. Which
Yeah.
7 does he want to read?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the strangest gift you've ever received from a fan?
From a fan.
Yeah. The fan.
You have enough fans. This had to have happened once.
I'm
I
sure.
don't get. There's literally like one person that's ever given me anything.
I mean, I bought you a shot of
A couple
Malort.
different things. That's disgusting. That's not strange.
but that's a proper present.
That's a
It
proper
is a
present.
present.
I don't know about the strangest. I've gotten a keychain before that had a miniature comic of Superman and into it,
That's super cool.
promoting
actually.
her. I don't know if it's her niece, but goddaughter or somebody's little acrylic art
Aw.
thing. I've never really gotten anything strange, but for my birthday
got the cakes.
last year, huh?
Was that 2 years ago? You got the cakes and everything at the Pierre show.
The cupcakes?
Yeah.
That's not strange. But she actually, same person, actually, was it last year? 2023. My birthday in 2023, I had a T-shirt, and I actually still have it. Wore it a couple times. It's a white T-shirt, and
Yeah.
in black lettering, it says drum for.
Yeah.
The most
Yeah.
fitting
It
T-shirt. that
says
he has in
drum,
his
and then there's a hand holding 2 drumsticks, which, if you've seen the graphic, it's a pretty common graphic, but it
Yeah.
says drum, whore, and so I wear that out pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I don't want to say weird or whatever the question
He
was.
needs a
It's
hoodie
cool.
with it on,
Strange.
so he wears it more regularly.
I'd put it on the
Yeah.
back at that point, drum whore, but that's now my license plate, drum whore. So thanks.
in the most unique of ways.
You
Love
gotta
it.
you gotta pass the censorship.
Yep.
1 to 25,
Yeah.
12. How many people are doing? 5.
Yeah. 5 of
You're
them.
on 3.
You're on 3. You're doing great. You're doing great.
I
buddy.
love that he's on this side of it.
Yeah,
right
this
now.
is kind of fun. I've been
Yeah.
staring at him pretty nonstop.
I've been-
Yeah,
For a
I've been
while, he was
avoiding.
making eye contact, and then
Nope.
he started to feel weird about it.
I'm also catching a little bit of buzz.
Have you ever dared to combine 2 totally different cuisines for one meal?
Yes.
And how did that go?
Oh yes. so so when I would say when I was younger, but I was a real young dad. iCarly was a TV show that my kids loved, and I actually liked it too.
Pretty fun.
We would watch iCarly, and they referred to a dish. One of their favorite things to talk about was spaghetti tacos.
Oh wow.
And for the while, I was like, "What are spaghetti tacos?" And finally, one episode they showed it. They literally took corn shell, hard shell tacos, and they took spaghetti, and you just literally just put the spaghetti in the shell, and you eat it like that.
That's awesome.
And that was pretty good. We tried it.
We have something
It was
pretty
really
similar
good.
to that. It's punchy pie spaghetti.
Pudgy
where
pie
Oh.
spaghetti.
It's a camping sandwich.
Oh, that almost sounds
it's grilled
nauseating,
cheese
though.
with spaghetti in it.
That sounds
That's
nauseating. I don't know if I want noodles inside my bread like that.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
You never do like
But
garlic
we
bread with
didn't-
your spaghetti?
We
though?
didn't, yeah, but not like as a sandwich like that.
mean,
We did not do any kind of meatballs or anything because my daughter's not really a meat eater, so we didn't do that. So that probably would have been even tastier. But it was interesting trying to keep the spaghetti in the shell while you were eating it because it wants to just slide right out of the
Right.
shell.
Yeah.
So you're literally using like your thumb to tuck
So
the
it
one
almost
in.
been better if you threw some shredded cheese
Something,
in first.
yeah,
for,
well,
like melting grip.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was an experiment. It was good.
Gonna have to do another spaghetti taco night.
Yeah, man. We can try it with some cheese on top.
It
So
was good.
next holiday at the house, instead of brats, I'm doing the spaghetti tacos.
Spaghetti
Spaghetti
tacos.
tacos.
Hey,
So-
man, I'll try it.
Oh,
Alright, another number.
that's probably it. Go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
you know, if you
that
got something
felt
else.
like he had
Yeah,
something
no,
for us.
The only other weird thing I've done is I've thrown chow mein noodles into my ice cream before.
Okay, you should have led with that one.
Yeah, that one's a little
That's
weird.
an interesting one.
Chow mein noodles, you can whatever ice cream you want, but if you want, if you don't want too much flavor, it's just vanilla ice cream. Vanilla bean ice cream would be best. Chow mein noodles and then Nesquik powder, not syrup.
Oh, okay. So like the dry
You-
powder stuff. Over
How
the
did
top.
he not lead with this one? He's over here talking about just putting
So,
spaghetti
so
in
you
the shell.
you do
And
that
how
for
did
the
it-
crunch of
and
the
how did
noodles?
it
It's
work?
texture, it's flavor. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
all the above.
I would actually try that.
Mhm. I'm also one like if you have cake and ice cream, I don't eat cake and ice cream. I swirl it all together
Yeah.
and make like
Into
a,
like a soup.
blizzard or a flurry or
I
whatever
can
you call it.
understand that.
I could see that one more. 'cause
Some
I'm
people
not a
think that's
cake
just
person.
disgusting, and I'm like, it's good because when you get like ice cream and icing together,
Yeah,
I mean, come on, restaurants do lava
Diabetes.
cakes with ice cream on
Yeah,
top
come
of
on.
it.
Yeah.
You eat them together.
yeah. But I'm not talking like ice cream on and then cake on your fork. I'm talking like
Oh, no, I know
literally
what you're
swirl
He
it
made
together.
a melted blizzard.
He made
Yeah.
a melty frosty.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I
thing.
miss working for McDonald's.
Salty
Those were the
ice
best
cream
cakes ever too. I don't know if I don't know if they still have them, but oof.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're on is number 4. So
Yep, number 4.
let's go with 2.
Ooh.
If you had to be haunted by a historical figure, who would it be?
Give it to us, Chris.
I'd have to say Abraham Lincoln,
Yeah, really?
and the only reason only because I'm thinking of my friend Dave right now.
Oh.
It would at least give me something to like.
An anchor.
This guy we always talked about. Abraham Lincoln was the answer for everything. Like,
Abraham Lincoln.
no, you ask him a question. If he didn't know the answer, it was Abraham Lincoln.
Why
no
that
matter
guy
what.
swerve in front of me? Abraham.
It was
Lincoln.
it was a
Probably.
thing that he had. So, yeah, because I don't think he'd be like. I don't think Abe would be an ass about it.
Probably not.
Yeah,
you know,
probably-
oh, you want to get some sleep? That's cool. I'll get some shut eye. It's cool.
Yeah, or just sit in the back and you
Yeah.
know, sit
It's
in a
fine. I got a
rocking
lot
chair.
of papers to draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write another, you know.
But that'll also,
address.
like I said, give me something to like tease my friend about.
That'd be entertaining. Abraham Lincoln was a wrestler at one point. In
Yeah,
time,
I
too,
mean-
so
What?
He
Yeah.
was a wrestler.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
During
And
his
what, he
school
was
age.
he was like a boxer too for a while, right? Like he would square up and fist.
Yeah, bare knuckle.
he was.
Bare
While
knuckle
he was a
boxer.
lawyer.
Scrappy,
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah, while
Yeah.
he was a lawyer.
Didn't
So
help you when you
depend-
got shot, did it?
Yeah,
Now we're gonna have to get into some Abraham Lincoln,
You know,
like history.
I guess suppose it depends on what era of Abraham Lincoln you would have.
Well, I mean, if he's he's dead, it's got to be after
Yeah, it's
after the
true.
assassination.
Yeah.
So you got the guy who just likes plays.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Let's see. So
Last one.
I haven't done any of the
one.
20, so let's go with 23.
23.
Okay.
I really should renumber these.
Uh-oh. This
Oh,
one
no.
got chat already.
Yeah, I like that. If each day was narrated by a different celebrity, who would you want to narrate your Mondays?
Oh, wow.
This is perfect for the guy who does nothing with pop culture.
It would no, it would. I always get him confused with Morgan Freeman. What's the other guy's name?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes, it'd have to be him.
Samuel L.
The
Jackson.
number
Go
of
the F to sleep.
the number of
Go
f bombs,
the
the
F.
number,
Yeah, all
the, the sheer number of like. So I work in customer service. I'm a supervisor for customer service, so I don't actually work with the customers. But between the customers' questions and some of my teammates' questions, sometimes you're like, "WTF, man."
F-bomb this,
WTF.
F-bomb that, mother
If he could just
effing
help me with
this.
my Mondays, he would get me through my Mondays.
Oh,
Definitely.
hell yeah.
Definitely. If I could hear him narrate, for sure,
That was actually a very fun
That
question.
was a
I
good one.
like
Really
that
good one.
question.
Good job,
Yeah.
interviewee.
I would definitely have him do it.
All right, and so now we hit
Yay.
that section of all this where you get to push
Oh,
the
where did this sheet come from? Hold up.
Yeah, this is
You're
our-
welcome. It's been here a couple episodes now.
Yeah, this is
Oh.
the way we run this. So now you get to tell us where we can find the kickbacks as well.
This is a script.
Check it out.
Yeah,
we
it's
can.
pretty
We're
neat.
scripted.
We're horrible about not having a script.
Yeah.
That's so this doesn't take an hour and 42
This
minutes.
is
Yeah.
true.
To be cut down to 15
so what are we talking about?
minutes
How do
for
we
you
push
guys.
social?
Socials. So, where can we find the kickbacks?
So it's pretty cool because
Especially the new album.
Yeah, because we got the new album.
we got a new album, WTKB FM, and that is it's supposed to be a road trip through the history of TKB to a point like you can hear the genres change because there were some songs we recorded back in 2014 in a barn, semi-professional. You know how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
My best friend has a studio he just built. Literally had the tempered glass and everything, so it could
It
or
felt
might be
real.
by
Yeah.
now. It might be legit. But there are some songs we just didn't give it justice, so we recorded those. We recorded some songs that we had in the tank that we just haven't put down with Korosic. We did add Diesel Fiend to the album, which was recorded with Korosic, but wasn't on any kind of release. And then we created some to tie it together. We called it WTKB FM. So you take a road trip with us, about an hour and 15 minutes or whatever, and you can listen through sort of like you're just changing your radio dial and listening to different kinds of songs and different kinds of ads and different kinds of static and
Yeah.
just anything you would hear if you were just going up and down an FM dial and trying to find something.
Yeah.
But you can find us, our socials, most of them are either something Kickback 99. So it's Facebook.com/Kickback 99, Reverb Nation /Kickback 99, Insta, I don't know, but I guess if you Google Kickback 99, that's us.
Yeah.
You can find the album straight away by putting in the Kickbacks WTKB FM. You can find a lot of our songs by searching that way. Diesel Fiend's one that pops up pretty easy. Those are the only socials
Have you checked to
we're
see if
active on.
everything's auto-generated on YouTube yet?
Yes,
Okay.
we're a member of Topic, which means we don't have enough followers or enough listeners to actually get our own channel yet. But again, if you search WTKB, if you search the Kickbacks, you'll see an image of the three of us. That's about it. I don't know what other socials we have. We don't. Again, it goes back to the obstacles and
Right,
cons and
Yeah,
stuff. Like
yeah.
we don't. I don't have time to keep up with anything else.
So you on them TikTokers?
We are not TikTok. We are not. We have an Insta, and that was supposed to be Jeff, but he doesn't do that. We had a Twitter, but Eric lost the password, so I'm not managing that.
Okay.
We had an email that I finally unlocked again just for this release because I hadn't been monitoring it for 2 years.
Okay.
Oh, that was a lot of junk mail.
I believe
Yep.
it. I believe it.
Reverb Nation, man, get your act together. Stop
Hey.
sending 14 emails a day. That's
Oh,
stupid.
I know. I
And
get
everything
all
you
of them.
send is some sort of subscription that you want me to pay for. That's not
Yeah.
happening.
You've done so well. You're
Man.
nominated for our top 10 playlist.
You're one of the top Fort Wayne rock bands. Check out this playlist you can add yourself to for $9.99.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, man.
But you're the top.
Yeah, that's why they're hitting you.
But,
Yep.
So that's pretty much the Kickbacks.
All right,
The
well.
Kickbacks, TKB.
I was going to say TKB Fort Wayne
Yeah.
/ the Kickbacks.
That's because of copyright.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm just putting it out there. If
Mother,
you
father.
see logos or you see tags like you're going to see on the post, it's going to say TKB.
Or just try
Fort
to
Wayne.
find the Kick Splatter.
Yes.
We've kept that logo very, very consistent
Yeah.
between both the Kickbacks and TKB. And that's even in the WTKB
Yeah.
Yes.
album cover, thanks to Steve over here. Thank you, appreciate that. And that provides a visual. And again, going back to marketing and promoting, the more visual that you can reinforce, the easier it is to find us. Because there is, in our region, there is the Kickback, there is Kickback. There are the Kickbacks from other areas that are dormant. They don't do anything, but they do have releases out there. So if you don't find the splatter, it's probably not us. If you're listening to something that's Celtic folk,
That's not them.
that's not us.
It
They're
was
in the
them in
genre
an
of rock.
experiment.
Now, like I said, we do have some genre changes over the course of 10 years, but
not that dramatic.
not that much.
All
yeah,
of them fall within the genre of
Yeah.
rock and,
Yeah.
and the grunge kind of.
Find that splatter.
Yeah.
So.
So, but on that note, we have put our drummer, who's not our drummer today, through the ringer.
Yeah, he's all sweating. We even
Yep.
sat him on this seat alone. That was so
Weird.
good.
That's
was
weird.
Thank you for
fun,
letting us
actually.
do that.
That was fun.
Yeah. So, on
They
that
just
note,
wanted some more insight that I don't give because I'm
Yeah.
very closed
Yeah.
Well, now we got it.
We-
Then thank you for
mouth.
that.
we need an open
Oh, he's
book,
not
Chris.
closed off.
mouthed.
Yeah.
That's
But
closed
something-
too. That's closed too. Nope.
But there's something.
Nope. Nope.
All right, and
But
on
yes,
that,
on that note, thank you everyone for checking out this episode.
Oh, thank you.
Go check out the new album.
We had fun.
It's been years in the works.
Yes.
They need the streams
Good Lord.
to definitely get all the spread of
Yeah,
everything
help
out
get
there.
us out of this topic bullcrap. I don't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So,
So
go
go-
listen
go
to
visit
it.
'em.
There's 25 tracks. I'm sure there's something you want to listen to.
Dude, those ads are pretty cool too. Like,
Yes.
let's not like glaze over that. Those are fun to do. Eric came up with quite a few that were really fun. Somebody called out Jeff's Poo Be Gone. Jeff didn't create but he's the one that gives it, and that was pretty funny. First time I heard that because they were doing some things without me, and I was like, that's
well played.
effing hilarious.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So
Well, definitely check it out, and thank you again for joining us here at Actually Controller.
sorry, so very sorry.
Is that what you're going to do? I don't feel like you're allowed to do that this time.
I just have converted back to controller Chris at the end.
All right. Later.
Thank you guys.
Love your guts.
to the thought of the scars, screaming for help, we still falter. Our closet waxes and grows, fight for the people who won't. With one single voice we still falter. When we fall apart, numb to the thought of the stars, screaming for help we still falter. Our content waxes and grows, fight for the people who won't. With one single voice we still falter. We falter, we falter.
Thank you for listening to Actually Contrøller. If you liked what you heard, please consider following us on all our socials. You can easily find us on all the different platforms by going to linktree/Contrøller33 or scan the QR code if you're watching the video version of this episode. Thank you, and we'll catch you next time.